Alrighty, this time Jinair on the blue side. Gonna ban out the same thing to start off with. Nova fighting. So must be Nova's mom in the crowd. We saw how Lehens reacted after he won a game with his family in the crowd. We'll see what happens if Nova can win a game.
Hopefully your son can have a better performance in this one. Of course, could be a different family relationship there. Looking at the bans and look at what is being drawn. We actually see a blue side Sejuani ban on 8-11 against Yondu. That is some respect. I believe Yondu's now 10-2 on the Sejuani this year. So that's a pretty impressive stat line for an MVP squad that did a lot of losing in spring season. A lot of meta stuff banned, but you do look at it closely and say, actually a lot open, including that Zoe, which I think Grace will first pick.
Or are they just going to go ahead and ban it out here and still have one last ban going? And they can see what happens when a Zoe gets going, but the Lulu just a little bit scarier, so they will take that one away instead.
If you ask why the Lulu is preferred ban is if Lulu's first pick, then some sort of funnel strategy can easily follow it. So Lulu into, let's say, Kai'Sa Braum is a very possible draft on blue side. The Zoe is still a power pick, while the alternative is scarier, and that's why we see the Lulu ban from the side of MVP.
Yeah, I like the Lulu ban, it makes sense. I like the Nocturne ban, it makes sense. But how about throwing Zoe into your second ban instead of the Vladimir? Not sure that anyone on the side of Jinair has really popped off on the Vladimir and made a big case that you need to ban him. I know he's a big, strong pick, but I don't know, I feel like Zoe's a bit stronger.
Of the effective champion pool Teddy has shown, I think the Vladimir was actually good for him, and it does have a little bit of take Gathering Storm, hope for the best about it, but of course, not a lot of winning on that side as we see Camille Galio for We're Team Fighting, and we already know that Galio could be max once again in support.
Yeah. And you know, that's one way to deal with it. You let the Zoe slide, and then you just jump on her and Hextech Ultimatum, and you
Sick
say,
portal jump you have over there.
You're not going anywhere, Zoe. That's two champions that can directly counter the Zoe in tandem.
And you see now why you go for a earlier game in the season of Galio's support, because actually Galio's an old school counter pick to the Zoe, or at least champion that can lane easily against Zoe, because you can use your W every time you're being affected by the Trouble Bubble right at the end, and then you have damage reduction on the Paddle Star, so very low chance you're going to be taken down, so nice flex pick there. I'm going to guess mid lane, but we'll wait and see. On the side of Jinair, Umti going for one of the few picks he's looked strong on this season. The Olaf definitely his speed, as a Tahm Kench Zoe does threaten for a bit of siege as well.
Yeah, Tahm Kench is a good one to pick up here. Definitely would have been one of the bans had we gone into that second banning phase. It's very good if you are going up against a composition that just wants to all-in you. If you take away a guy that gets picked by the all-in comp, then maybe you can survive.
Ezreal at this pick would be a nice pick for the side of MVP. Does well against the champions locked in, and the champion is likely to be banned in the second round, so that's why we see the Ezreal here for Pilot.
Papa Prophet showing up again. Do like the pick now, after you mention it. Does make a lot of sense.
Well, you already know that the rest of your team is probably hard committing, so why not go for the person who can self-peel in the Ezreal? So nice draft there from MVP. The bans come in. Jinair haven't really committed to anything. They got a strong presence jungler and then a nice contested mid laner. So we'll wait and see what that means in terms of bans, is banning away an old So1 favorite. Don't want to have too much presence from the top side, and a split pusher would certainly represent that. What does it mean for Mr. Mundo, though? As you could ban two champions who are strong against Mundo, and then find another beefy frontliner for MVP.
They said that So1 kind of looks like the fox that was drawn there on the right side. It's up to you guys to say if you agree with that or not. I say it's kind of similar. We're going to have Varus taken away as well. Don't want to deal with that in the bottom lane up against the Ezreal.
MVP support or mid lane for the Galio means we're going to have one of those picks picked up by the side of MVP. They're saying they're thinking it's a mid lane Galio, and I tend to agree. Also top lane likely to be selected. Would it just be a Mundo or Ornn? Because I think both of them could be considered here. It's a blind pick. So a blind pick into the Gangplank would be risky, but it's also AD saying, hey, I could last pick a Gangplank into a tank that you select, and So1 often goes for Ornn. In this particular case, I think Ornn is just straight up the right draft for top siders.
Agree.
On the side of Jinair, a marksman for Teddy. I'd love to see one.
How about a Vayne into Camille Galio? Yes, being facetious, don't want to see it. We'll see what they do want to do. Are they going to take that Ornn away?
Well, it's most obvious Ornn lock here. And then ADD decides between Mundo and GP, pick your poison. But that's just kind of what they have to do. If you think about their comp, the Ornn ultimate, Olaf walking in at the same time, and the Disarray and Zoe firing down, so they had to go into the Ornn. Final pick here, though, is a bit up in the air. All right, Teddy, reveal yourself. Show me a marksman, please. One time. I know it's not a fun team to play a marksman into, but
yeah,
we need damage, Teddy.
What's it going to be? Lucian looks to be the hover. Then it goes to Kai'Sa right there at the end. So Kai'Sa Tahm Kench down in the bottom lane.
Again, you have to feel good about a marksman. It's a marksman who can kill tanks, but it needs time. And Jin Air did not have any time in the previous game. It was over so damn fast. And they need to find a way to beef up their early game. Maybe Umti can allow Teddy to bridge to the late game. MVP considering their options. Even ADD returning to the Singed, which has been banned against him, is a nice matchup into the Ornn. We're going to see the mad scientist. It's going to be coming on to the Rift. Another way to create pressure, and if the Singed is able to proxy farm, they put down wards, and in comes Camille Galio. The life of Umti might be a charmed one because there is very little counterplay to that.
Yeah, I love that pick at the end there, even foregoing such stuff as Mundo. Don't want to play Mundo against Ornn. They decide to go for that Singed for just even more oppression. It's going to be pretty cool. Like the composition there from MVP, definitely very all in. I'm going to dive you, and we have Ezreal to just hop around in the back line.
Jin Air's comp is actually really strong as well. I like it as a 5-champion pool. They have the ability for Olaf to take over the game and Zoe to back him up, so you can snowball through the jungle. You have late game Kai'Sa, who can do a lot here, even through something like the Hextech ultimate, just kill the damn Camille. If you get the items to it, there's definitely breakpoints in the early game and late game where Jin Air win, but then you look on the side of MVP, and if Singed gets going, they shut down the Olaf, then the late game never comes. So the Teddy win condition, the Gathering Storm in a champion, the Fountain Laser could be live. So it's nice to actually see one because the Fountain Lasers haven't been there, but getting to that Fountain Laser stage based on game 1 form, seeming unlikely.
Yep, not able to do the composition of 3 supports, a tank, and a Kai'Sa, but we'll just be calmly farming down on the bottom side, trying to avoid getting engaged upon by Ezreal Rakan, and any kind of bottom lane 4-man gank. I mean, once you hit level 6, we've seen this the entire year, right? Camille comes in, Galio jumps in on top of them, Rakan follows up, and Ezreal True Shot Barrage and just kills the front line. So they definitely have that ability to go for kind of an all-in in the bot side. And guys, we will have a pause. So there's still the opportunity to take some time off, talk about other random stuff, or will it just be a short pause here at SpoTV?
You can never know. It's been a week of pauses over here. And the LCK, I guess that will be the subtitle of LCK Week 2. A bit ominous with 2 match days remaining in this week, but the reality of some of the issues the game is going through right now. The Taliyah and Karthus with Smite still disabled, as sounds like just a couple of technical issues, not audio. Never heard anything about howling, so hopefully it's game time.
Yep, that it is. The countdown has started. Let's jump into game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
It's the 2 sides trying to outdo themselves. I feel like MVP, after hearing Jin Air in game 1, they're trying to come in big now, and it was a lot more even in terms of the fan cheer.
Who should be proud of themselves. Maybe both feel that this is kind of that must-win series for MVP to try to stay around and competitive the top 5, and for Jin Air to find a victory in their most winnable match with their very difficult opening schedule. However, the gulf between the 2 teams was very evident in game number 1. Jin Air, I like the draft for Jin Air, but getting there seems to really require Umti to have the sort of dominant early jungle performance that has so far eluded him this season.
Oh. Kind of feels like we've stepped back in time into a bit of normalcy outside of the Singed up in the top side, which we didn't really see much in spring. A lot of these picks looking very familiar, and these compositions looking familiar to LCK Spring 2018.
How are you feeling about the please gank mid lane summoner choice by Ian? He's gone Electrocute on the Galio for Camille plus Galio equals death. Very, very possible.
I mean, yeah, you know that there is going to be that Ignite on the side of Grace, so you just say, if we can land a stun and do that burst damage before he can pop out of the 2 stuns, then we should be able to kill the Zoe.
AD's popping. He's representing his Looper skin here. Another retired pro gamer going for the Samsung Galaxy Singed. I'm a fan. Whenever the team skins come out in the league, it's always amusing because of all the history behind them. Empty power farming for now.
Yondu looking for the top side, actually. Not going to go for the top, but is being pushed in for the Singe. Just taking a roundabout way to the Scuttle Crab. We'll take that out now.
Is spotted on a ward from the side of Jinna, and making Camille predictable at level 2 is always a bit of a win, since so many Camille struggle to hit a Trinity Force by 35 minutes.
Yeah, Camille's predictable, and so is the Olaf. Running over a ward here, and Yondu just running on over as well himself. You notice the bottom lane beginning to rotate a little bit ahead of that, and so it looks like Yondu might be able to double Scuttle here.
One of the least shenanigans games in a long time. We've got standard lanes everywhere, Valdez. So this is a turn we're going to have to rewind our brains to literally any other time in the history of League of Legends after EU standard lanes became a thing.
I mean, this is definitely something we haven't seen in a long time. It's kind of excited, you know? The old norm is now not the norm, and it's the abnorm, I suppose you could call it. But,
AD can't get behind the turret.
Yeah.
We always know it's about blowing that flash early from Singe, then when he gets ultimate, it's about trying to actually close him through that. That's tricky. For now, at least, ADD pushing up, and pressure on an Ornn is going to be the pretty standard playbook for the side of MVP. The double Scuttle you mentioned is a nice little boon to Yondu, who obviously wants to give up farm. Is looking for Umti. Is he going to look for an angle on top? His first thought is no. AD freshly shocked with the double dank seal. Going to go for the Krugs first, then reevaluate.
ADD, of course, doing Singed things, just continuously pushing into the turret. Already ahead in farm, just a bit ahead of that Ornn. And he actually went all the way down the river. They just don't have vision of him. You saw the question mark ping came in as they thought he's in that bush there. So Umti might just be able to come on in here and get the gank onto ADD. Misses the knockup though.
Misses.
Yeah. So that'll be a lot harder to jump on. Easy flash into teleport from Ian. I think that was a little bit of a mistake, not really necessary, as ADD just flashing away from that one.
Outside chance would have been a kill to mop up there with Ian coming in, but I think it was the right thing to do to cancel it, stay mid lane and not allow the Zoe to move forward. Finally seeing a return to some of the picks that did well against Zoe when her power level was, I know this sounds strange to say, but even higher in the spring season. Yeah. Galio was one of them. Galio his lowest ever recently, and Zoe, after the little rebuff, is different, but still very, very strong.
There's definitely some new fans, new viewers that didn't watch Spring, but they're watching Summer now. Shout out to the 10 of you who might not know that Zoe was once unbelievably broken. And some still argue that she's a little bit still overtuned.
I think
I'd say it's pretty close. She's really strong.
There's things you can play into it, but those things don't work so well in the current meta. There's some champions, like, is Kai'Sa overpowered because you can funnel gold onto her? I would say no, but some people would say yes. Probably depends on whether their team is winning or losing, but there's a lot of stuff going on there that's kind of interesting edge cases. Zoe definitely does seem very powerful in the current meta, but LeBlanc, Galio, there's definitely answers to it. Echo is a big pick that BDD showed that can be used against it. We're not seeing them. That means that right now Zoe is seeming hyper-oppressive.
That's part of the reason, you know, it usually doesn't get banned in the first 6 bans you have. You know, occasionally it does, especially if you're going up against a really strong Zoe player. But kind of squeaks through in the first pick for blue side more often than not. That's why we do see it very often here in the mid lane. I mean, you look at even Toby for Griffin. I think he's 4-0 on the Zoe. Every single time he gets a chance to pick that up on the blue side, he'll just play it every single time. It's just really strong, even blind picked in the mid lane.
I'm not on this Chovy hype train. I saw him today. Didn't see him do any damage, Valdez.
You know, maybe Braum needs a little bit of a buff then. Braum Tarek, I think is what he played, right?
I'm just saying, you said he was, you know, right up there, mechanical god. I didn't see too much on that Tarek Braum.
You know, his Braum wasn't the most impressive thing ever. He was doing a lot of ultimates straight into the Yasuo wall. Saw that multiple times.
So what you're saying is he was next level baiting the Yasuo wall?
I wish I could say that for his sake, but not quite the case. Poor Toby. He's still young. He still has so much to learn, Papa.
I just want to see him lane against Faker because we didn't see that today. Just off doing shenanigans things. As so far, there's been no shenanigans. It's been very sensible. Standard lanes come out. It's what everybody wanted. None of them bruisers. Here you go. The LCK gives you exactly what you want.
Yeah. Took a little bit of time, but we eventually got there. And yeah, in that case, if we're just going to return to the old marksman meta, how about farming for 30 minutes? How does that sound, guys?
Oh, the Gathering Storm could come online any moment. Remember, we did mention Olaf bridging the gap to the late game and that Kai'Sa could overtake the game. That means that farming is pretty good for the side of Jin Air. But that's... Don't let me mislead you. MVP have a very strong 1 to 2 item spike, so they actually use the gold that they're getting passively here extremely well in about 10 to 15 minutes. It's only later that Jin Air get more, but you're not really going to complain after game 1 if you're a Jin Air fan either.
Yeah. We definitely could see a moment in, you know, maybe 3-4 minutes where Ian and Yandu come together in the bottom side and try to make something happen. So far, ADD really doing his job of trying to draw attention into the top lane. Nice steal by Grace. First Scuttle Crab of the game here for Jin Air.
Remember, Proxy does a lot of things. Proxy right now, consider what is happening. Singed pushes up a minion wave. He walks through the enemy jungle, gets exact timers of every camp, can ward them as well. It's all about the map information that Proxy provides at the highest level. Whereas for the Ornn, while he doesn't take damage from camps or from the minions at this point with Bellows Breath, he still is not able to make those same vision missions. So it's all about the vision here from the Olaf, who, again, cue the Yakety Sax.
ADD, he does not have a splash, actually, and he's not ultra tanky as the Sins just yet. Here comes Grace trying to land the Trouble Bubble. Is right on point. Nice snipe there, but not able to follow up with the Paddle Star. ADD in a lot of trouble here. Looks like he will go down for first blood, given over to Umti.
Jin Air plays that one really well. They wait out Ian. They wait to see, is he in range? Is he coming on the gallery? The answer is no. And from there, they pick up the kill. The Proxy can, of course, be punished as well. Nice punishment by the side of Jin Air.
You mentioned how Umti going to be pretty key in this game. He's at least able to get off to a good start here. Yandu trying to answer by going for this Mountain Drake on the bottom side. See if he can take that down without anybody getting in the way. Looks like with Ian coming down, they should be able to secure that.
Teddy gonna get probably a free Rage Blade back before any action happens this game. He will lose out on the first Drake after showing multiple members on the top side. Easy pickup.
He had his flash. The potential was there for him to give his life, but he decided not to. Probably a good decision.
The Witness Me play would have been a bit questionable there from the Olaf, so I think he made the right choice. Mountain Drake, not worth it.
We've seen Umti get a little bit overexcited at times, so I didn't want to rule it out just because it is Umti. He earned a lot of different nicknames in his rookie season. King T is a big one. God T is another one, but of course, everybody's favorite on the global side, Inti, was very popular.
You know, he speaks good English, but I haven't told him about that one. Maybe that can be you, Valdez.
Yeah, I mean, well, I wonder if he ever just goes and watches the global VODs, and he's like, I wonder what they're saying about me, about my play, and then he goes in and he sees the chat spamming Inti. Probably not a good feel.
These are humans too, by the way, chat. Just so you know.
What?
There's humans behind these sick Korean League of Legends plays. And, probably don't feel so good about that nickname.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't know about it. Definitely would be a feels bad man moments. Perhaps a little bit of Bible thump as well. I mean, he knows he didn't have the strongest of seasons, days past. But he's trying to get there. You know, he gets the first blood. We'll see what he can do tonight.
Jumps on that Olaf and tries it again. His faithful Nunu banned away because of the Karthus no longer being available. Kai'Sa probably has Rage Blade on the next back, but for now, it's all about the farming phase. Pilot working on his tier. Max switched over to Teleport. We could definitely have the everyone is top lane if Yondu decides we want to do that.
It's been surprisingly passive from the side of MVP. They're the team, you know, we saw the key points, right, where it's we will fight at any turn for any reason.
How about a fight?
They haven't been fighting at all this time, but maybe here they will. Going for the Rift Herald, gonna miss the Paddle Star and the Trouble Bubble. There it is, gonna do the combo on in. Stopwatch is gonna be good. Grace actually able to flash away here. They can't get the Zoe and a big knockup, but they finally do get onto him. But the steal there, looks like Umti was able to pick that one up. The team fight though, Yondu is gonna get low. ADD in the backline, there's Teddy trying to get onto Yondu, but there is the shield to keep him alive, and Yondu will not go down. Teddy on the run is gonna be able to snipe him. Nicely done on the Kai'Sa. Having trouble chasing her now, but 3 members coming on in. It's probably going to be up to Pilot to try to just 1v1. They don't want her to get any free kills. Trying to get on in there, and finally, she does go down.
Very exciting team fight. Wasn't sure if the Rage Blade purchase had come in. Might be just afterwards. Hard to tell, of course, because we had the overlay all there for the team fight. Exciting team fight where you saw some interesting geometry plays with the singed fling and everything else happening. The fact that they were able to pick up the Rift Herald is a nice little lead to Jin Air, who would love to take some turrets down and start sieging MVP and much more gated around full engagements. Speaking of engagements, this ended up being baited. I wondered if the stasis effect was too early from the Zoe. It was not. The knockup doesn't come through. As we hear that blood-curdling sound of the Galio. Grace goes down first, but from this play, when Teddy gets the first kill, you wonder, this could be a sign of Teamfight's future.
Yeah, we are going to have the Kai'Sa popping off eventually here. She is one of the only 80 carries in the current meta that sees a lot of play. And Teddy trying to make it big in the bottom lane once again.
We got a lot of meanwhile ads. We did not see ADD get this kill, and we're seeing topside ADD escaping multiple members. Seems like a lane swap with the Rift Herald from Jin Air.
Nova stayed alive with the Grey Herald, the Health rather. Really good steal by MT. He's able to get the Rift Herald, and now they have a huge push up on the top side. They want another charge here onto the Tier 2 turret. It's only ADD, and that's not enough to stop this. 4 members and the Rift Heralds. They want to get a second one. They might be able to here.
Good lane assignment, and 2 melee champions can't really show any threat. Ian walking over, remember, doesn't have his ultimate.
No flash either, gonna flip Sohan back. Yondu getting low, but is gonna engage there, but a fantastic devour by Nova, perfectly done, but now Umti getting pretty low, is gonna go down. Kai'Sa with not enough damage to take out ADD either.
4v5, or 4v4 I should say. No Ezreal though, they're able to repel the push with basically only melee champions, and Pilot is getting a lot of farm unanswered. And some decent turret damage, but not gonna take down the turret. So one can teleport over. A lot happening there. Kill credit goes over to ADD, I believe. He's got 4 stacks on his Dark Seal, so that's something to show.
His what?
For the early itemization. They're dank seals, but one of them, as the fans would know, is called a Dark Seal in the shop. Nice. As we're going to watch the replay, Ian came in at just the same time as the engage, and that's why they were able to do so much to Sohan. But they popped the engage with the Devour, and ADD ends up the only kill of the fight for MVP, but crucially, they keep this inner turret up, and you might say, well, the health bar is low. It's very difficult to return to that low health inner turret with so many other structures still on the map, so it ends up being a kind of moot point how much damage you've done to an inner turret pre-15 minutes.
So we return to normalcy here, Ian. 2-0-2 now on the Galio, and you can see how he's a bit of a counter up against the Zoe. Not quite able to chunk out a Galio, even though he didn't even go for any magic resist in his build.
It's the Lava build. The first time we saw Lava play AP Galio, it was rushing the Proto Belt. Cool build. Not double magic penetration yet, but Sorcerer's Shoes into Proto Belt. The reason why you see a build like that, as we mentioned already, that farming suits both these teams to a point. It's kind of a, we don't really have the verbiage in League of Legends to talk about it other than mid-game comp versus late-game comp, but the way I think the fans should visualize it is that between 30 and 40,000 gold, I think MVP use their gold better than their enemy, so even if there's no gold lead, that's when Trinity Force and the mid-game spikes for the Ezreal are online. If it hits a 45 to 55,000 gold game and Kai'Sa has multiple items, that's where Jin Air really takes it. So looking at total gold numbers, we're really cresting upon Trinity Force, Muramana, mid-game transformations for the team of MVP, and they have the strong engage to actually fight when that happens, so that's the critical time for MVP.
Yeah, Jin Air in a very comfortable spot, right? We talked about it before. They love to go late game, they love to draw out the fights, and they love to do the Fountain Laser game with Teddy on a Kai'Sa, but now with double Mountain Drake looking to go over to MVP, and the fact that they just love to get into it, and they love to engage, and they have the composition that really fits their style. Definitely feeling the MVP hype train here coming into game number 2.
The Mountain Drake's kind of irrelevant though because they have very poor Baron damage. It's only Ezreal. Everyone else kind of is more about peeling around a Baron than killing it. I guess Camille if she gets enough items, but we're being realistic here. So it's not Infernals. It's not really going to be a match changer, I would say. Maybe it allows Singe to be a bit more annoying, a bit quicker in the side lane push, but 2 Mountains down, the bot lane outer down. This is where Pilot gets Trinity Force and probably only 2 minutes away from the Muramana transformation. And now is the time where if you're Jin Air, you say, okay, we need to be careful about how we play in. Being careful against Camille with Flash and a Galio, that's a really high degree of security required to get through.
Yep, good luck, Jin Air. We'll see what you can do. Maybe we even have the Zeke's Convergence finish there on max. Gonna plop that onto the Ezreal and just try to force these fights. Let's take a look at some jungle stats. MT has been more around the map, has better ganks, 1 for 2. Yondu hasn't really ganked. He did contribute a lot to that fight we did have in the river though.
MT was able to balance it with very good farm as well. Olaf has been one of his best picks in the past and is looking good in this game as well. His other performance on Olaf this season was good to add in. One of the reasons that we see Kai'Sa still in the meta is that she doesn't build an AD build anymore. She goes for the Nashor's Tooth after the nerfs to how the Hurricane interacted with her Hyperdrive, or I might be wrong, but E basically, and how the cooldown reduction happened. Then the Nashor's Tooth focusing on AP and stacking up the Rage Blade, applying the missing health damage multiple times makes her a huge threat on Galio and Singed as the game goes on. So still more of an AD carry, but still the differing build makes it kind of hard to explain.
Now, what are AD carries in 2018 anymore anyway? We're all trying to figure that out right now. Nice predict there on the Trouble Bubble. Going to be able to do a nice bit of damage here to Ian. MT was sticking around, but again, it is the Galio. He should be just fine there in the mid lane.
Muramana transformation. All right, 32,000 gold, a Muramana. Now is the time where you're very concerned about the collapse from the side of MVP. We'll see how Jin Air plays around it, still trying to make this a bigger gold game.
Well, it looks like MVP has discussed it too. They're coming on in with the teleport and they say, okay, this is our power spike. Let's do it. They're really aggressive up on the top side. Jin Air just have to give that away. What else are they going to go for? We got Baron here in 20 minutes. You mentioned that Baron damage not too high. Maybe they'll try to bait a Baron or perhaps just go for this mid lane turret. Might be the safer option here.
Baron control is still recommended because people get in their own heads. They say, oh crap, the enemy team has 2 Mountain Drakes, Baron time's 20 minutes, even though we know it's unlikely for MVP to fully stick on it. It's one of those things that you play around. Just like these first pick Lulus, even if you're not intending to play Master Yi Taric, provoke some interesting red side drafts that can be counterpicked more easily. So still the right place to play around. They have both the side lane outer turrets down, and any way to get that inner turret down, sorry, the mid lane outer turret down would be a nice movement forward for the side of MVP.
The Ezreal pick here for Pilot. You'll notice that the CS numbers are similar. They both have 1 kill. There's the extra assist and tower gold over to the side of Ezreal, but he is about 900 gold ahead of the Kai'Sa already. Allows him to pick up that Vampiric Scepter as well. Going to be building towards that Blade of the Rune King, which is pretty common on this patch.
Wouldn't mind a tier after the Bilgewater, because the late game may become more of a real thing than a game decided around 24 minutes, like game number 1. So perhaps the backup option of going into the Archangels is recommended. Pilot, some nice poke there, but does miss the ultimate. It seems unlikely he will go for the double tier because he's already bought CDR boots, so overcap on CDR.
Well, no arcane shift here on a Pilot, and he gets it back up actually just in time. And now actually Max in an awkward spot. He's flashing away from that. Very, very respectful of the potential for Jin Air to jump on him.
A lot down from Jin Air, and this mid lane turret is already falling preciously low. See if MVP choose now to push up. The Galio is spotted out by the side of Jin Air.
So they're just comfortable to stick around the turret, clean that up, and we will not have an effective push down in that side. It looks like ADD has to make his way down here and get this lane pushing in his team's direction.
Banner of Command second appears to be the item build here from ADD, who went for the early Liandry's. It seems to be a favorite among the Korean Singed players. Not able to push up, not able to threaten, so there will be no more mid lane turret damage down, but triple Mountain Drake is going to be some fast Singed wave push, that's for sure.
We'll see if MVP can actually secure that Mountain Drake. We mentioned how their comp is stronger right now. If they really wanted to force a 5v5, they should be able to win it. What is Ian doing?
That was hilarious. He's not going to think that we had that on screen, but we did.
I love how...
he didn't miss it on purpose, by the way, guys. For sure, he got called out afterwards.
I love how the observer zooms in, too. He's like, hello, Ian? Hello?
404, Ian not found.
Definitely a bit of a low light for Ian. He was looking pretty good on the 7-0 and 4 Zoe in game one. But
the moment we see the zoom out, you can see that flank coming here, Valdez. So that's why we were checking in on the Camille, wondering if now would be the time. And Drake is up. First two were taken. Seeing some pings top side as with Double Mountain, things could happen. Banner of Command is down, but Summoners are up, barring the teleports from Teddy, Ian, and Pilot.
Taking a look at the item build here, 12-minute Rage Blade for Teddy, and a 17-minute Trinity Force into 18-minute Muramana there.
I would say overall this is pretty, line stuff. It's all pretty similar. There's no advantage there as both of them have been farming up a Storm. Teddy's going to get to late game and an AD carry. That's exciting. Even if it's an AP Kai'Sa, I know, guys. Sorry. What can I do?
Yeah.
Close enough.
It's really hype. The triple Mountain Drake. Double Mountain Drake, it's good, but it's not game-changing, as you mentioned. But triple, it's like, even if you don't have the best composition for Sieging or Baron, you might be able to, oh boy. Zoe popping off here. Yondu in a lot of trouble. Gets chunked out in just one rotation by the Zoe of T. Moving forward, but he might go down here super low. Pilot has to flash the Battle Star there. And not able to follow up was Sohan with the ultimate. Oh! For the snipe, it's not going to kill him, T.
Matt, 3 Infernals. Umti's dead, so he's able to live through that. They're going to push in, though, and will this be the window for MVP to take this long-awaited outer mid lane turret?
Yondu did have to go back, but he went back first. So they're looking for the engage here. Fantastic Devour, but he gets onto the Tom Kench. But they do not want to dive underneath the turret just yet. They did not have the Camille, and so willing to take the turret and move from there and get a gold.
Loving the grounding effect, though. You're seeing the Mega Adhesive used against a Zoe. The potential is pretty big if Tom Kench is not there. That was the same mechanic that we saw BDD exploit on Echo, where he would just use the parallel convergence on the spot where the Zoe was leaving from. You need a little bit of prediction, but it's usually pretty obvious when the Paddle Star harass coming in. And then, oh boy, big stun and dead Zoe. Cool little mechanic. Doesn't actually work that time, but a threaten for the future from ADD.
Really loving the Tom Kench play so far. He's finally off the bench in a non-Kench and Ezreal duo in the bottom lane. And it's pretty good with the very standard, AD composition that's going to be scaling up in the Kai'Sa. So far, it's been looking pretty good for the side of Jin Air. Haven't really gotten too much Abyssal Voyage value in this game, though.
And pretty low Galio ultimate value. As when it was attempted, it was, of course, the stopwatch against it. Couple of stopwatches left, still one being held onto by Teddy. Could still buy a Guardian Angel, even if he's going for the AP-centric build. Zonia's also a very real possibility. Saw Zonia's early tonight, coming from Viper. Then one on the Ornn as well, but probably not looking to squish the Ornn.
Yeah. Stop on speed. Carries are coming back. I feel like I've seen this before. I talked about Abyssal Voids, though, trying to exit out of that one. Very heroic. He did look, but he's actually a coward. Ian not willing to 1v4.
Takes a hero's exit. Sometimes you just need to choose your battles, Valdez, as MVP. So have a lot of tools left to look for an engage. ADD, still doing the Singe thing.
Yeah, so on, trying to fight him. Not going as planned. It's all according to Singe's plan. As is always the case. Battle of the Banner versus Banner, and it's really going to be up to, I feel, the first team to get this Baron. You already mentioned how MVP can't really get the Baron, but now that Pilot has less than half health, Jin Air might be looking at it.
Certainly going to at least clear the vision, remove any control. MVP have been frustrated. They haven't been able to find a flank so far. The flanking play that is threatened by a Singe duelist proxying has so far been denied. Again, Tahm Kench is literally the biggest enemy of a Singed because he's got single target flipping and Tahm Kench's got single target eaten. And that turns out to be pretty good for the Tahm Kench.
Yeah, definitely do like that Kench pick. Picked it up before the second ban phase, in which the Jace and the Varus were taken away from the side of Jin Air, but yeah, I mean, it was just a good pick overall. It's really working out. It's helping extend this mid-game so that they can't really, be outnumbered by one person getting picked into a potential Baron or Baron turn by MVP. Just extends it, gives them a lot more time for the Kai'Sa to come online.
And we're closer and closer to those gold values, Valdez. I mentioned 45,000. 50's kind of the watershed mark, and 50 seems like it's going to be a gold game for both MVP and Jin Air. Galio went super into the mid-game by ignoring Rod of Ages and going for first Proto Belt and following up with the now standard Ludens. So he's going to be all about ability power, and you don't die in the burst. Perhaps you don't die at all. So MVP now starting to be frustrated. Now probably starting to get a bit worried. There's no guarantee they lose in the late game, but there is, of course, the worries right now.
Yeah, I think it will come down to execution before the Kai'Sa is 6 items. At that point, you better hope you find a Kai'Sa without a Tahm Kench, but I think Jin Air is at least good enough to know how to play around Teddy. But I've been proven wrong before. The Barons for MVP have never been the cleanest, It's been struggle street for them.
Better recently.
Yeah, a little bit better, but overall still below average. There's the pick, though, and they kill him before the Devourer can come in. That's exactly what they wanted to do, and now Nova in a lot of trouble. This is finally the wombo combo they were looking for. 2 members of Jin Air disappear. That might be MVP just going for the Baron.
Took us off by surprise. It was so decisive by Pilot and Max. Lovely play by them, and that's the Baron that they seem to be nowhere closer to getting for the better part of 12 minutes. Well, the setup was late, and now Grace
trying to do a bit of picking and a nice try by Umti to try to steal that. It was really close. Max picks it up, but Umti gonna pay, and so will Sohwan. There's no way out for him. That's 4 kills and the Baron. And even without the best Baron taking team, they might even be able to get the ace here as Grace getting super close to death. ADD on the chase, but cannot clean him up.
They find a way to blow open the game with a single pick. Let's watch the replay of this one. It seems so quiet. It's a quiet moment in the game. We'd had very reserved voices, and then Max says, "I got you, baby," and sure did he. Instant death for the Kai'Sa. Couldn't even use the Killer Instinct or the Flash. Goes down, easy second kill on Nova, who for once was not within melee range of his Kai'Sa. They lose the mid lane turret. So many objectives rolled that would have been impossible a moment ago, and that basically won them the game, barring some shenanigans from Teddy. Teddy's dead again.
Well, getting pretty close. Oh yeah, Teddy actually did die.
Yeah.
But the Nova does go down too. And it's hard to say, even if Nova was right next to Teddy in that last fight, would they have been able to save him and go into a fight? The rest of Jin Air was so far away from the other 2 members. So all of a sudden, in what we didn't expect, this game might just end. As trying to go for the Devourer here, Nova is going to go down. And that should be the end of the rest of Jin Air, as one mistake gets that snowball rolling real quick just like a fast car, and that's going to be the 2-0 victory going over to MVP. Looking for the kill on the Grace, can't get it, but they will get the kill on the Nexus. 2-0, MVP looking pretty good tonight.
And that's what happens in a meta where you can snowball and end games where AP champions do more damage to turrets. Blink and you miss it, entire game is over while you're trying to make a sandwich. You weren't even going for something special. You weren't making some sort of 3-step process. Your peanut butter and jam was all you wanted. Unfortunately, game ended in almost an instant. Max gets the big pick, they turn it into a Baron, they turn it into the victory. MVP 2-0, it ends up being a 2-0-2-0 day.
Yeah, a bit of a quick one here. We had a couple of close games in the earlier series tonight, but MVP did not make it look close. Just one or two mistakes out of Jin Air, and they shut the door real quick. There was definitely one guy in the chat who had a toilet issue, was gone for 2-3 minutes, and he's like, "What happened? The game just ended all of a sudden. I didn't even get to see it end." Well, that's the world we live in here on 8.11.
Was QV in the chat? I didn't see.
He definitely could have been. Might have been him. He was the one who popularized it here. It's definitely now a new trend. But
another new trend is Jin Air losing. They have been second
old
to
trend,
a lot of
is.
strong teams, but not quite in this way, not quite with this level of regularity. They drop again, so on their captain. Looks bemused, whereas for MVP, they have a lot of good things to remember. I'm sure their coach will at least have some things to VOD review in game number 2. Game 1 was pretty close to flawless. Game 2, some kind of mis-executions or lack of execution or initiation around the Baron may have slowed them down. But I see some big smiles in MVP in such a stacked LCK, ending their first 5 games 3-2 would definitely get them a lot of smiles from the organization.
Yeah, it's hard to complain. You take out BBQ, SKT, and now Jin Air. Struggle a little bit up against the best teams in Korea and perhaps even the world. There's certainly some work to do for MVP, but they're looking pretty decent here in the middle of the pack of LCK. And yeah, it was just the engage all-in composition from MVP. Took a little bit of time to get off the ground, but once they were given one chance, they just put the game away in one fell swoop.
Ruthless stuff from MVP after that pick onto Teddy. Teddy was so close to reaching the sort of Teddy moments we know. His items were stacking up, but the Kai'Sa takes time. Kai'Sa was one of the few picks that could actually win the game straight up that is viable in this meta, given her ability to shred tanks, and there were plenty of tanks on the side of MVP. This was the action in the early game where MVP was doing well, and then there was a huge lull, about 15 minutes, when nothing happened. And nothing for 15 minutes did suit the side of Jin Air, and then this happens as Max says, "I would like to win this game," and win the game they did.
A huge lull followed by another huge lull in the fact that Teddy just disappeared. Didn't even see him go.
He died a second time, that was off screen.
Yeah.
Probably just as quickly as the one we saw.
It's probably better for him that he died off screen after getting picked like that. Nova not helping out either, and a couple of them helped to give away the Baron MVP. They take this one, there's no steal. Umti flashing in for it, very desperate. 2 more people get killed. Grace nearly goes down in the end, and then in the blink of an eye, the game just ends.
See who the MVP is going to be awarded to this game. AD had a lot of pressure, and maybe he'll be the one, but Max just for winning the game straight up. Being a big argument as well. They dive, they end. It seems like no more are there these kind of Mexican standoffs around the Nexus turrets. People just dive and end the game. It's been the meta recently. And they're able to do that, and MVP 2-0, clean stuff.
Let's take a look at some game facts here. The Ezreal popping off in a big way. And look at that gold graph. Nothing happened for, about 17 minutes until 27 minutes. 10 minutes of nothing. And then all of a sudden, and 10,000 gold landslide in the favor of MVP.
3 minutes, 10,000 gold. Nice game, Riot Games. That's what can happen in this meta. That's 8-11. The snowball will be toned down eventually, but definitely toned down here.
So, Ezreal, lots of damage. Pilot doing the work, but Max with the one big engage. And curious to see who the MVP is after that one. Yeah, not much else to say. I mean, that was just about it, right? The game just ended so quickly that there wasn't much other content. Let's see who the MVP was. From the side of MVP, it will be Max. He doesn't get robbed this time around.
I really hope SmoTV asked him about Mad Life, because of course Max was his protege. So very interesting. I'm sure Sunke will walk past, so I'll say it loudly and maybe he'll hear. His English is quite good. But it's a nice performance here, so going to be Ian and Max with the MVPs.
Yeah, so I'll throw it over to Ji-sun, who will help out with the translation. We'll be back in a few, guys.
Thank you very much. This is Ji-sun with their interview translations, and today we're gonna have an interview with Max and Ian from Team MVP. Congratulations.
네, 처음이에요.
So it's your first interview here, right?
아, 근데 원래 지금 메타가 바텀이 눈에 띄기보다는
So the current meta is not about bot lane. We're just more like supporting. So yeah, I think I shouldn't be like the one getting the MVP for sure. But Ian, I've seen you for several times here. So I guess your performance is really good. And we were wondering if you're going to play aggressive pick in mid lane. So how do you feel?
일단은 1세트 때 진짜
So the first set,
컨디션이 안 좋았는데
well, I wasn't feeling well,
운이 좀 많이 좋아서
but I guess I was a little bit lucky.
조금씩 컨디션 회복된 것 같아요.
So yeah, I think I got recovered throughout the games.
너무 많아가지고 그중에 이제 몇 개 장면 중에 하나가 미드에서 나왔던 킬에 관련된
So
내용이에요.
the kill in mid lane with Yeondu and Max.
합류하면서 킬이 나왔었고 그 다음 킬에 관련된 것은 역시 이제 맥선스의 파이크가 등장하면서
네.
So you got support from other laners a lot. So you remember that? But I actually don't remember. So let's check out the highlights.
여기 큰 화면으로 보이세요. 큰 화면으로. 여기서 그냥 치고 나서 잡았던 기가 막힌 장면들.
Super plays on MVP. First Yeondu and then Max.
혹시 기억나요?
네, 기억나요.
So I remember now.
오도 나왔던 거예요.
So whose shako was that?
파이크가 먼저 온다고 했고
Well, Max said he's just gonna come to mid lane. So he was actually trying to get visions near mid lane,
오라고 불러서
but we saw the angle coming, so we made the kill over there.
거의 반반?
So yeah, it was me and Max.
불렀어요?
And actually Ian called me.
첫 번째 사실 그리고 그 세주안이의 그 궁극기가 맞추기가 그렇게 쉬운 상황은 아니었을 텐데
네.
그게 이제 적중이 되면서 그때부터 이제
So
뭔가
after you guys landed the ult from Sejuani, you guys were able to make the kill over there.
규석이가 각을 본다 했는데 제가 이제
So Beyond said he'll be camping in mid lane for a while, and he sounded really confident.
맞춰 하면서 잡았던 것 같아.
So yeah, that's how we got the kill there.
더잘 맞추는 경향이 있는 것 같은데 그거 어때요?
So did he get better after he changed his ID to Yeondu?
신인 버프.
Yeah, maybe
버프.
신인
he
버프.
got a little bit buff from there.
사실 그 이후에도 좋은 장면들이 많았던 게 굉장히 그 트런들 끝까지 상대편 집 앞까지
And
쫓아가서
today you seem like you're never giving up. So you were chasing Trundle all the way till the end, and you finally made that kill.
감히
Well, I knew that he was gonna recall over there, so it was a nice guess on my side.
이 심리를 딱 바라보면서 넘어가서 그냥 친 거잖아요. 그러니까 여기 보면은 이거는 완전 예측한 거잖아. 완전.
So it was their predictions, right?
하는 게 중간에 한 번 보여가지고
네.
예측했던 것 같아요.
Yeah,
사람이라면 여기서 갈 것이다. 그 사람이
I just predicted it, and I was lucky to make that kill.
만족스러웠어요 이때는.
네, 이때 좀 신나가지고
네.
So after taking down Trundle there, I was so excited, so I swear in the gaming booth.
그게 나왔구나. 네, 알겠어. 이거 안 돼.
Yeah, it was like my mistake.
저 친구 잡아 정도로 순화하도록 하겠어. 뭔지 알죠?
It was about get him
저 친구
down.
잡아 정도로 할 수 있어요. 저 친구 잡아 브라던데다. 그리고 사실 맥스에 관련된 내용도 1세트에 또 등장을 했어요.
So we have a question about you, Max, about the first set.
막 매듭을 비치고 난리 났었잖아요.
네.
그래서 야 이것도 금방 많이 나오나 막 이런 얘기가
Your performance with Pike was really awesome.
그러다 이제 파이크가 등장했는데 이거는 어떤 선택이었던 거예요?
파이크가 이제
So about the Pike pick,
원래 하면 좀 좋더라고요.
I think it's a really good champ to pick against Alistar.
사용을 했는데 네, 이제 감독 코치님도
And I practiced for several times in the streams. And yeah, our coaching staff just let me play it today.
컬러풀한 그 챔피언의 활용 능력 아니겠습니까?
네.
그 부분에 대해서
And
많은
Max,
분들도
you have a really wide
보내주시는데
champion pool.
이번 메타 때는 아주 전 라인이 다 그러고 있잖아요.
네, 맞아요.
But current meta, every other laners
이 상황이
are
이제
forced to play
너무
various
다양하다
picks.
보니까 굳이 저까지 다른 픽을 할 이유는 못 찾았어요.
So yeah, I feel like I shouldn't be the one playing different champions in current meta. So yeah, I'm just like slowing down.
아니다. 정확한 타이밍을 알고 있네요.
네, 맞아요.
1세트 관련된 내용을 말씀드렸고 2세트는
So moving on to game 2.
인상 깊은 장면 중 하나가 이제 이안이 발기를 쳤어요.
Ian, well, you were trying to take the scuttle crab And you let Yondu get the Scuttle Crab.
이게 제가 몸통
So did he ask for that?
네.
딱못 맞춰가지고 아 네가 먹어 딱 이렇게.
Oh, well, actually, I missed my skill shot, so I told Yondu to just take the Scuttle Crab.
돌았었지만 못 잡을 줄 알고 그냥 간 거였어요?
아니 제가 맞춘 줄 알았는데
네.
바이게가
Well, I thought I landed it,
떴더라고요.
but the crab just sidestepped it, so
그래가지고
아,
I told him to just finish the
내가 먹는다
crab.
그래가지고
네.
하면서 줬어요.
So it was my mistake.
너무 솔직하게 얘기하네. 이한 선수 그런 장면들이 있었고. 그리고 이제 2세트는 아무래도 이제 바론에 대한 한
So we have a question about the team fight at the Baron's Nest.
그때는 어떤 내용들이 좀 있었어요, 맥스?
So what kind of call went back and forth?
제가 봉풀주를 들었기 때문에 투스마이트로 좀 쉽게 먹을 수
So
있을 것 같아요.
we had two smites on our side,
정글러가 있는데 그냥 먹고 싸우고.
so we were really
아,
confident.
그래서 그 콜이 나왔었고.
네.
그리고 마지막 전투가 사실상 그 거의 경기를 끝내는 장면이 있었잖아요.
네.
아주
So last team
기억에
fight
찔러
was the one
들어갔는데
that made you guys to finish the game.
있었나요?
이제 원래 그때는 원래
보면서 이제 보면.
네,
네.
카이사 옆에 켄치가 있었어야 되는데.
So actually, Kaisa needed Tompkins on her side,
앞비전 쓰면서 각이라고 하길래 저도 몸이 반응했던 것 같아요.
and Pilot said he was dashing front, and he said this is the angle for the team fight. So
이렇게.
we just started fighting over there.
네, 도그 파이트. 이거를
Our team is really strong in those kind of team fights.
사전에 나온 얘기니까
네.
틀린 얘기는 아니에요.
아주 있어 보이네요.
도그 파이트. DF. 그다음에 이 뒤는 그대로 뭐 마무리 짓는 장면이
맞아요.
있었으니까. 굉장히
And
뭐 깔끔한
after that, you guys were
모습이
able to finish the game.
시청자 질문도 이제 이어서 한번 받아보도록 할게요.
So we have some
시청자
questions
질문이
from
이거예요.
your fans.
안 보여줘요? 네, 이거예요. 시청자 질문. 하와이안 피자를 좋아하는 걸로 알고 있는데.
So Ian, we heard that Hawaiian pizza is your favorite. So is there any other fruit toppings for pizza you like?
아 이게 저희 숙소 옆에 피자집이 하나 있는데요.
Where there is a pizza store near our house.
먹는데
So we just prefer ordering Hawaiian pizza. But last time they have put blueberries on it,
피자집을 안 가요.
so we just quit going there.
그래서 좀 리얼함을 살리기 위해서
네.
저희가 또 하와이안 피자를 좀 준비를 해봤어요.
You know, and we always prepare some gift for the winners. And today we have the pineapple pizza for the team MVP.
진짜 사왔어요. 그래서 이거 뭐 여러분들을 위해서 보시는 바와 같이 그냥 오리지널 하와이안.
So this is the original Hawaiian pizza with pineapples on it.
그냥 이 친구 그냥 내로 먹겠어요? 날로 먹겠지? 두 판이죠, 두 판.
네.
두 판 이렇게 해서 한번
So
준비해
two in
봤는데
total.
어때요? 이렇게 지금 봤는데
How do you like
지금
them?
뭔가 토핑을 하나 더 얹는다면 뭐가
Is there any other toppings you would like to add?
저는 새우라고 생각합니다.
I want shrimps on it.
피자의 완성은 새우다.
네.
이유는?
Why?
뭔가 달고 뭐 시고 한데 고소한 것도 있으면 좀 좋을 것 같아요.
Well, I think shrimp can add more flavor on it.
섬유질이 좀 필요한 그런 느낌이다. 이안.
What about you, Ian?
그 외쳤었던 용두가 무슨 아이디냐? 하와로 가야 된다라고 얘기했었던.
The lover of Hawaiian pizza.
그냥 저는 파인애플만 얻는 게 나은 것 같아요.
Just pineapple.
네.
이유는요?
Because
넣으면 이제 그 파인애플에
other
맛있는
toppings might
그게 섞일까봐
ruin the taste of
엄청
pineapple.
잘 어울려요 피자에 진짜.
I think pineapple is the best topping for pizza.
진짜 드시고 말하세요.
Try it.
물음표 이안 거른다 이거거든요.
Don't criticize on me. Just try it, and you're gonna love it.
드시고 말씀하세요.
네, 저 글로벌 중계진은 셰프.
So, breaking news said Ian said pizza only need pineapple for its topping.
갸우뚱하는 그런 느낌이 있는데. 괜찮아, 그래? 괜찮대, 파파는. 어때, 발데스?
What are your thoughts, Papa and Baldes?
괜찮대. 외국인 글로벌 중계진.
Well, our global caster also said Hawaiian pizza is really good.
이제 같이 한번 나눠 드시면 될 것 같고. 그리고 이 질문도 올라왔네요. 지금 감독.
So, another questions.
지금
I've heard that you guys put your head coach's picture on your monitors. Does it really help?
좀 더 집중하게 되는 경향이 있어요, 저게.
그래요?
Yeah, it does really help us.
제가 실수할 때마다 불안하고 이렇게.
It makes me feel like more concentrated, and it makes me reduce my mistakes.
티가 나고요.
진짜요?
네.
Yeah, this really helps me to keep focused and stay some kind of alert during the games.
네.
지금 저 장면을 보고 저희도 이제 소식을 좀 들었었거든요. 그래가지고
Well, we really thought that's a really nice idea.
하고 있잖아요. 그럼에도 불구하고 좀 어려움이 있어서 저희 두 증계진 모니터에다가
So we have put
모니터에다가,
picture.
뭔가 붙여놓은 게 있어. 이거 어떻게 보여드릴 수가 있나? 너무 어려운 게 있어.
For the Korean casters here,
보여드릴 수 있을까요? 이게 감독님 혹시 가능하면 이게 될까요? 우리가 이제
so we just want to show it to our crowds.
왜냐 안 되고
some alerting messages for our Korean caster to reduce their mistakes.
소년이 항상 이제 좀 쫓기는 느낌이 있어가지고 마음의 정화를 주고자 집에서 치우는 개를 가지고 오라고 했는데 그건 안 된다고 해서 뭐를 붙여놨냐면 그
So
사진을
we
이렇게
also put the
붙여놓고
picture of their pets on their monitor.
이건 맥스한테 배웠다. 이건 맥스한테
This
배웠다. 이런
we
얘기.
thought this idea is really great. So
만나는 아시고 있어요. 그래서
we also tried it for the
얘기하려고
Korean
이
casters.
질문을 선택했어요. 네,
감사합니다.
그렇습니다. 그리고 끝으로
And last question. How have your pet piggy have been
엄청
doing?
커져가지고요.
네.
근데 지금 꼬부기가 움직이면
I mean,
그
she
방안에서
really
코치하고
grown a lot. She's really big.
뭐 어떻게 된 거예요?
네,
그럼
너무
사진
커져서.
그럼 사진 같은 거는 뭐
일단
Is there any other pictures you can show us?
이건 확실해요.
I'm sure that she is stronger than Ed.
네.
이거 에드 선수하고 합의 본 거예요? 네. 그만큼 지금
미안.
엄청 크게 컸다.
Yeah, she has grown a lot.
좀 약간 SNS를 통해서 한번 올려주시길 좀
네,
부탁드리겠습니다.
알겠습니다.
자, 그럼 이 시청자 질문 다 소화해봤는데 사실
So this is the end of the question from your fans. So moving on. So you guys have proven there that you guys are really stronger team in LCK.
쌓아 올렸는데 이제 다음이 하나생명 e스포츠예요.
And your next opponent will be Hana Life Esports.
정말 괜찮습니다. 그러니까 실질적으로 중상위권으로 충분히
And you know, Hanwha is also in a very good form currently. So how do you feel?
그게 잘하는 팀인데
Hanwha is a really strong team,
저희가 더 잘하지 않을까.
but we are stronger.
감히 말해봅니다.
물론
I can say that.
잘하지만 충분히 잘할 수 있다는 이현 선수 오늘 경기력이 좋으니까 맥 선수는 어때요?
What about you, Max?
그래도 자만하면 안 되고
I think we shouldn't let our guards down. And there are a lot of points that you should repair on.
굉장히 잘하시거든요.
And I think Lava on Hanwha is really strong.
준영이가 긴장 좀 해야 되지 않을까?
So I think Ian should be really alert.
사이 안 좋아요?
아, 그렇게
Are you guys good friends? Well, me and Ian, we're not that close though.
그렇죠? 네. 끝으로 오늘 이제 MVP 하면 가장 떠오르는 게 이 파이팅입니다.
And MVP,
분이 오셔 MVP 팀도
you've got great fans, right?
이 파이팅 소리가 장난 아니죠.
You should be really proud of your fans.
그 정도로 아주 굉장히 임팩트 있는 파이팅이 있는데
They're so energetic.
여러분들이잖아요. 한 말씀 좀 부탁드릴게요.
So last message for them.
저 너무 많이 했어.
네, 일단 이 안에 그 뭐랄까 하와이안 스타일로
Hawaiian style comment, please.
항상
알로하 해줘요.
Aloha.
오케이.
항상 와주시고 이렇게
Thank you for
재밌는-
coming out to the arena and
재밌게
support
봐주시는
us.
것 같아서 감사드리고 앞으로도 많이 응원해 주시면
So
좋겠어요.
I'll be looking for continued support from you guys. Thank you.
진정한 이야기 잘 청해 들었습니다. 자, 그래서 MVP 두 명의 MVP 선수들을
So
한번
this will be the end of the interview with Ian and Max from MVP, and I will pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
오늘까지 함께해준 이 두 명의 선수에게 여러분 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
I just want to say, I mean, that pizza's getting a little bit cold. Maybe we should eat the pizza instead of just holding it. I don't know, like, maybe we can end the cast a little bit early and grab a slice?
They didn't
Papa, I
offer a
don't know.
slice as they walked off the stage.
They just kept the box closed and walked away, and, well, I guess the pizza will remain uneaten and
Hey,
cold.
Papa Smithy and Valdez will remember this, MVP. You did not offer us a slice of delicious Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't like Hawaiian pizza around this global community, speak up right now.
Just say something.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Hawaiian pizza here.
Literally
In the
everybody on this
LCK.
cast is loving it right now.
Everybody involved. Everyone listening, everyone talking. We love that Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah, as long as nobody's refuting it, then obviously we're all in agreement here. It's really awesome to see that pop up. But guys, awesome to see some great matches coming later. Tomorrow, KT versus Gen G. Feeling the Gen G hype, but we'll see if KT can get everything together. Also, Hanwha Life up against Afrika. Predicting Afrika, but they did just come off a loss, and Hanwha Life, you never really know with them. They're kind of middle of the pack alongside MVP. Maybe they can come in with the upset tomorrow, Papa.
Almost feels very similar to our first series of the day when we're talking about KT Gen G, because if it's the KT of the last series, they will lose to Gen G. If KT can transform it, they have the player quality to do so. Something that SKT, unfortunately, right now don't seem to have. They could win, but Gen G is the no-brainer prediction there.
Yeah.
I'd like to see KT put up a fight, and I'd like to find score, because I know all the Rush fans wondered where Rush was. I'm missing my score. So comeback score. We love you. Please come back to the LCK.
It's time, I think, right? After the last one, they had a really wacky series up against BBQ. I know the memes were there, but it was sloppy. It wasn't old KT. We need the shot caller back. We need score back in the jungle. Sorry, Rush fans. But, quick day, Papa. I think you deserved one of those after all the pauses we had yesterday.
But the League of Legos will continue 2 more days this week, I imagine, before we hit 7-12. So still the 7-11 fun. And 8-11, sorry, 8-12 and 8-11. 7-11 sounded too funny. But regardless, looking forward to it. Fun days games today. I enjoyed the interview with MVP, a bit of an old school Spo TV interview with some crowd interaction, some caster interaction. All sorts of fun and a lot of love. A love-in for Hawaiian pizza, and that's really what this show's all about.
Yeah, but still no pizza for the other casters, so still feeling bad about that. Maybe in the future we can get some, but thank you once again for joining us, guys. We love you.